Hello, everybody, and welcome to That's What I Meant. This is a trivia comedy show, and as all good trivia starts, let's start with a question. So, contestants, can you guys tell me how much does a cloud weigh?
7 pounds.
7 pounds.
800,000 pounds.
It has no appreciable weight.
Nicole, so far you're the most wrong.
I'm going to say it's a negative weight.
It's not a negative weight.
He's
Karen, you're the
drunk.
closest.
Yeah.
Without being that close, the average cumulus cloud at 1.1 cubic kilometers weighs about 1.1 million pounds. Clouds.
What?
That's
Can we
impressive.
fly
You had a
through them?
graph about that?
Isn't that wild? Density is
Wow.
neat. Physics are
My
neat.
mind's blown.
And you know what else is neat?
They should be light.
Storms are neat. This is the Storms episode. My name is Chris. I am your host. All right, let's meet today's contestants, starting with Karen. Karen?
Hey, yes, the name is Karen, and don't be jealous, but there has been a tropical storm, a hurricane, and a typhoon. Karen, thank you very much.
Wow.
All right, there goes one of our trivia questions. All right, jumping down to Eric.
Yes, I'm Eric, and I'm a big storm fan. In fact, I'll often go out when they tell you, don't go out in the storm. I'm the guy that does it. So, see me on the Darwin Awards, I guess.
I'm right there with you. Lorraine is our next contestant.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Lorena, and I'm actually the opposite of Eric. I am terrified of all things storm. And up until I was about 18 years old, I used to call my mom every time there was a storm and beg her to come home because I didn't want to be alone.
Did you just stop calling her because she demanded you stop calling her?
Honestly, I still kind of call her sometimes.
Yeah, that's all right. Nicole, you're the last participant today.
I am Nicole. This is super fun. I am recently good at putting umbrellas up. For a very long time, I had a hard time when pinch my finger, but I've learned how to use the button, and I'm ready for the next storm that comes.
All right, so I've got a list here of 4 different wives' tales about things that happen right before a storm. And all I need from you guys is whether or not these are true or false. So for our first question, we're going to look at a couple of old wives' tales and things that people say happen before storms. So all I need from you guys is whether or not you think these are true or false. And if you have a guess why it's true or false, you can throw that in too. So our first one is, right before a storm, do the leaves turn over?
Yes.
Yes.
No, not all of them. No.
They do. The leaves turn
I see
over. Because it gets so humid, the leaves droop from the weight of the air. And then as winds come in, as part of the storm rolling in, it actually turns the leaves so you can see the bottom side of the leaves being turned
There
up.
are men, especially in Nordic countries, whose name is Leaf, and they don't turn over, so I was right by saying I wasn't sure.
You know what? That's fair. I didn't spell it, so.
Right.
The second one, right before a storm, do cows lie down?
Yes.
No.
Never.
Sure.
Tired.
If you
Lorraine
push
and
them,
Eric, you guys are killing it. Cows laying down is not a sign of a storm coming in. It's just
the sign of drunk college kids is what that
pretty
is.
much, yeah. College kids, they're lazy cows. Sometimes cows like to sit, you know. Final wives' tale. The day before a storm, do bees work harder? They go out and gather more.
No, bees work hard all the time.
They absolutely do. And they're more angry.
Yeah.
I don't know about the angry part. They do work harder. They go out and they gather more food so that they can hang out in their hive. They can just kick it back at home, watch some Netflix.
Yeah, no, they get pissed. I've been stung by bees like when the weather's getting bad. They are angry and they don't
Eric,
like
they
that.
just don't like you.
I just
But it could be 2 things. It could be the weather and me.
The
They're trying
fact
to
that
get
you
their
go
work
into
done.
their actual hives and take honey out makes them angrier.
Also, guys, I don't mean to brag, but Eric and I are hashtag winning.
It's true. You guys took this round for sure.
Sweet.
High five, Eric.
Question number 2, Nicole, you had a little bit of trouble on that first round, so we're going to throw you a little bit of a softball on this one. I want to bring everybody back to January 22nd, 2013. There was an event. There was a snowstorm that went down the I-79 just outside of Pittsburgh. What caused that snowstorm that made it special? There was no other snow in the area.
I
Oh,
saw
there was-
Forensic Files, and there was a thing about fog. I'm guessing it was from a factory.
A factory, yeah. Factory.
I'll give it to you guys. It was a nuclear power plant. The exhaust from the nuclear power plant pumping steam into the air, the conditions were just right that it just turned into a blizzard. That was about like a narrow thing, went right down the road and just ended. And everybody who was driving through it was like, where in the world did that come
Wow.
from? What month of the year was that?
January 22nd.
It was the winter, Lorena.
Okay. No, Eric.
Middle of July.
I was just like, oh my God, if it did that in the middle of July, that's a powerful
It's just like Homer Simpson was like on the controls and like space.
Right. Don't.
All right, we're on to question number 3. So I don't know if anybody's ever heard this word before. Petrichor. Does anybody know what petrichor is?
This might be where I start to lose.
I'm just thinking like the word like
Petrified?
I was thinking the petrified. Yeah, I don't know.
It's something that has to do with storms, specifically after a storm.
A scared bee.
It's a petrified bee.
Yeah.
Is it the ozone smell?
You know what? I'll give it to you, Eric. It is.
Nice.
It is technically a. How do they describe it? It is a fatty acid that plants produce, and when raindrops hit the ground, it's injected into the air and it mixes with the ozone, and that's what causes the storm smell. Right, that like nice, fresh post-rain smell. There's also something called geosamin, which is also part of the mix, but petrichor is the big one. We didn't know about it until 2015, or we knew that it smelled good, obviously, but we didn't know how it happened until 2015 when somebody found out that it is when the raindrop hits the ground, it captures a little air bubble underneath it. The air bubble collapses and then it sprays up as an aerosol, and that's why we all of a sudden get this fantastic smell coming out. And now people are.
It's a matter of time to like Jennifer Lopez's cell.
That's so people are now trying to figure out how to like harness it for fragrances and stuff. Yeah. All right, so question number 3 was admittedly a pretty tough one. So question number 4, let's go with a multiple choice. Give you guys a little bit more of a chance. I feel like I'm being a little mean. The question is, how hot is lightning? The possible answers, all in degrees Celsius, are 200 degrees, 5,500 degrees, 27,000 degrees, or 200,000 degrees.
27,000.
That's what I was going to say, 27,000.
2 for 27.
I feel like you should say the third one because no one said that.
5,000.
We both.
How hot is the sun?
All right, we got 3 for 27,000. And that is correct. Good job, everybody. 27,000 degrees. That's about the temperature of lightning, of when a lightning strikes. Obviously, we aren't exactly like sticking a thermometer in there to test it, but that's the best we've been able to figure. For anybody wondering about the other ones, 200,000 degrees, that's about the temperature of the surface of the most massive stars in the galaxy. Pretty hot. 5,500 degrees, which I think you said, Eric, that's actually the temperature of the surface of our sun, which I would have thought it was hotter than lightning, but hey, what do I know? And if you said 200 degrees, that's about 392 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not quite warm enough to roast vegetables, definitely not warm enough to be lightning. So I guess sorry if you thought that was the right answer. All right, so we're on to question number 5, our last question of the episode. And, you know, I always like to do what's the most expensive. I couldn't do the most expensive storm, but I can do what's the biggest storm that we have on record as measured in distance from one end to the other.
Hurricane Karen.
Hurricane Karen. We know there is a Hurricane Karen.
We do know.
Not the answer, though.
I feel like there's a sports team called the Storm that I'm not thinking of. That's not my guess. I'm just saying. It would have
go with Hurricane Andrew. That was pretty big.
Hurricane Andrew was a big one. It was not big enough to be the biggest, but it was up there.
Is it a hurricane though?
It is not a hurricane. It's in the Pacific, where hurricanes have a different name.
Is it a typhoon? It's
Typhoon, right?
I'm going to go with Typhoon Andrea.
Oh, Andrea.
It was not Typhoon Andrea, a typhoon that I'm not 100% sure exists. Certainly could.
Typhoon Karen.
No, they're not Typhoon Karen either.
It was probably a close second, though. It was Typhoon Jeremy is who it was.
Typhoon Jeremy.
The one right before me. Yeah.
Nicole, you got a guess?
it's known in other countries as the big one. That one.
It's like the big wave and the wave picture. But I can't remember who the guy who painted that is, so I'll probably cut this out. You know, you're probably right. I'm sure people did call it the big one. However, it does have a proper meteorological name. It is Typhoon Tip. I could tell you all had it on the typhoon tip of your tongues. It was right there. Thank you for booing, Nicole. That's what that deserved.
Yes.
So the size of the storm is kind of mind-boggling. It was 1,380 miles across. And so I put together a little list of places. And I want to see if you can guess whether or not these places are greater than or less than 1,380 miles apart.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So first we've got New York to Dallas.
Less.
That's about right. That's less than.
New York to Dallas, right? It's just a hair under 1,380 miles. So if you can picture this typhoon, it's about the size of half of the United States, the continental United States. That's a big storm. All right. How about the widest part of the Amazon rainforest?
Is slightly bigger.
Bigger.
Yeah, bigger.
Smaller.
It's smaller. It's actually substantially smaller. It's about the Amazon rainforest is widest part, about 1,200 miles across, almost 200 miles too short to be covered by typhoon tip. We'll do one last one. Let's go with from Cairo, a great ancient city, to Rome, another great ancient city. There's a huge body of water between them. Is it more than 1,380 miles apart?
Yes.
Yes, more.
Less.
Sure, yes.
Yeah, it's still less. Typhoon tip could have been raining on Cleopatra and Caesar at the same time. Most of the time wouldn't have been that shocking because if I remember right, Caesar was in Alexandria at the time. They actually would have been pretty close, but you get it. Anyway, that's our show. That's Storms. Thank you so much for joining.
I won, by the way.
Everybody, Lorena, again.
Again.
If the rules apply, you guys got to get quicker on the draw.
Whoever says they won one.
Exactly. Thanks to everybody for joining. All these fine members of the Improv Playhouse house team. Love working with you guys every week. If you guys could do a quick recap of where fans might be able to find you. Karen, where are you online?
I am on Instagram. It is Sweet Keeks, Keeks on Instagram, and that's about it.
Great. Eric, anywhere we can find you?
Yeah, you can find me Saturday nights at 7:30 and 9 at Improv Playhouse.
Perfect.
Nice.
Lorena?
You can find me on Instagram at Lorena Out Loud.
All righty, and Nicole?
On Instagram, I am at Nicole.Freer, and on Twitter, just at Nicole Freer.
Sounds like you're used to promoting that all the time.
It's a lot.
So that's our show. Those are our performers. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And Lorena can tell you a little bit more about Improv Playhouse and all the great things they're doing over there.
Yeah, so Improv Playhouse, we have classes for children and adults. We also have summer camps. All that information can be found at improvplayhouse.com. We are also on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter at Improv Playhouse. We also have Saturday night shows. 7:30 is family friendly and 9 o'clock is adults only. So you'll have to check us out sometime.
Great night, everybody.
Bye.